Welcome to a quick walkthrough of using the Interpine Cloud Remote Desktop Service on a iOS device, that is an iPad or a iPhone. If you make your way to the App Store, you can search for the Microsoft Remote Desktop app. Once this is installed, it will appear on your desktop as shown in the top left hand side here, RD client with the little icon, the orange icon. And so on entering this application, you can see that you have two options at the base of the screen, PCs and workspaces. In this particular case, we're going to be working in the workspaces option. So in the top right hand corner, we're going to click the plus, we're going to add a workspace, and we're going to type in Interpine's cloud URL. Alright. You'll find that this is automatically detected as being a remote desktop environment, and we can then come through and add our user account. Do this if you are the regular user of this device. If there's more than one user on this device, then you can leave it as ask when required. In this case here, I'm going to be choosing my username and password. Click the next option up in the top right hand corner, and you can see we now have the Interpine workspace for the remote desktop client installed. We now have a connection here icon, and we can simply connect using that icon. And you can see we're into that familiar Windows environment on our iOS iPad in this particular case. This also works, of course, on your iPhone, much smaller screen, but very similar experience. Just to go over some of the features of the iOS remote desktop environment. And so on the top here we have an icon bar that controls how you interface, and so we can bring up the keyboard at any stage by tapping on here and bringing up the keyboard on the iOS device. We can obviously zoom if we wanted to, and the icon here, which is of course the remote desktop client icon, if you click on that you'll notice you'll go back to your iOS environment, and in this particular case then you can jump back into any other app that you may be on. You're not disconnected from the PC at this point. You can see that in here we can disconnect all PCs, or we can hit the X button here, which again will disconnect from my remote desktop. There's a couple options here as well. You'll notice that you have a mouse or a touchscreen type feeling, and so if I choose the mouse, which is highlighted there at the moment, when I'm in the remote desktop environment, you'll notice as I move my finger around, then the cursor is moving around. Okay. If I want to click on an object, I just come down and double tap, and that will open that particular application and so on. If I go back and choose the touch environment, of course what you'll find is your finger is now the cursor. So if you touch on the Windows start bar, you'll see that your finger is now actually the mouse. So a couple of different experiences there, depending on your preference and how you want to operate. Alright, in terms of support as well, just remember if you need support, the key email address there is support@interpine.nz, and you also find these tutorials, etc., on our training and support page. Hopefully you find that useful.